Whiskers twitched, eyes blinked open. The morning sun filtered through the curtains, casting a warm glow on the soft fur. Snowball stretched lazily, his body arching gracefully as he prepared for another day of adventure. This was Snowball, a cat with a nose for trouble and a heart full of mischief. His bright blue eyes sparkled with curiosity, always on the lookout for the next big discovery. Whether it was a hidden corner of the house or a new toy, Snowball was always ready to explore. Snowball was a beautiful cat with white fur like the snow and a pink nose that looked like a button. His fur was so soft that it felt like a cloud, and his purrs were like a gentle melody that filled the house with warmth and comfort. He lived in a big house with lots of places to explore. Snowball loved to play. The garden was his favorite place, a vast playground filled with endless possibilities. He would spend hours chasing butterflies, climbing trees and hiding in the bushes, always finding new adventures. He chased after dust bunnies as if they were tiny tigers. Every leaf that fluttered in the wind was a potential prey, and every shadow was a mystery waiting to be solved. Snowball's playful nature brought joy and laughter to everyone around him. He batted at spiderwebs, pretending they were scary monsters. His imagination knew no bounds, turning the simplest things into grand adventures. The garden was his kingdom, and he was the brave knight, always ready to defend it from imaginary foes. Every day was an adventure for Snowball. From the moment he woke up to the time he curled up to sleep, his days were filled with excitement and wonder. Snowball's spirit of adventure was infectious, reminding everyone that life is full of surprises and joy. One sunny morning the world seemed peaceful and serene. The birds were chirping and the gentle breeze rustled the leaves. It was the perfect day for an adventure. Snowball, the curious white cat, discovered a new game. His eyes sparkled with excitement as he roamed the garden, always on the lookout for something fun to do. He found a ball of bright blue yarn sitting on a shelf. It was unlike anything he had seen before, and it immediately caught his attention. The yarn looked so soft and inviting. Snowball couldn't resist its allure. He reached out with a paw, feeling the texture of the yarn. Snowball batted at the yarn, watching it wobble and roll. His playful nature took over and he couldn't help but give it another swat. The ball rolled off the shelf and began to unwind, trailing across the floor. Snowball was delighted. He watched in amazement as the yarn created a long, winding path. He chased after the yarn, pouncing and leaping with boundless energy. Each leap was higher than the last, and his joy was evident in every movement. Snowball rolled in the yarn, tangling himself in its soft strands. He didn't mind at all. In fact, it made the game even more fun. The more he played, the more yarn unraveled, creating a blue yarn path all over the house. Snowball's playful antics filled the garden with laughter and joy, making it a day to remember. The house was a mess. Yarn was everywhere. It was draped over furniture, wrapped around chair legs, and hanging from the curtains. Snowball, covered in blue yarn, looked like a fluffy blue monster. He purred with satisfaction. Just then, his human came home. She stopped in the doorway, her eyes wide with surprise. "Snowball, what have you done?" But Snowball just purred and rubbed against her legs, his blue yarn fur leaving a trail on her clothes. His human sighed. It had been a long day, filled with endless antics and playful mischief. Snowball, the little white cat, had been up to his usual tricks, darting around the house and causing a delightful ruckus. She knew Snowball couldn't help being mischievous. It was in his nature to explore every nook and cranny, to chase after imaginary foes, and to unravel every ball of yarn he could find. His curiosity was boundless, and his energy seemed infinite. She picked him up, yarn and all, and gave him a cuddle. Snowball purred louder, his little body vibrating with contentment. He loved these moments of affection where he could feel the warmth and love of his human. Playing all day was tiring work. Snowball had chased butterflies, climbed trees, and pounced on leaves. Now his little legs were weary and his eyes were starting to droop. Later, after all the yarn was put away and Snowball was brushed, he curled up on his human's lap. The rhythmic strokes of the brush had a calming effect, and he felt himself drifting off to sleep. He was sleepy now, his adventures over for the day. The world outside was quiet, and the stars began to twinkle in the night sky. Snowball's eyes closed, and he dreamed of more adventures. But everyone knew, tomorrow would be another day full of mischief and fun for Snowball, the mischievous cat. His spirit was unquenchable, and his love for life was infectious. The adventures would continue, and so would the joy he brought to his human.